I'm trying to think. A, would Kyrie actually leave the Nets? B, what's the most money they would pay to keep him? And then C, if they didn't want to keep him and it was a sign and trade scenario, where would he go? So I came up with 5 possible destinations. Destination number 1, Dallas, if it was a Brunson double sign and trade. And what's interesting about this is I thought about it and I kind of liked it for both teams. If you're Dallas, Kyrie is just a better basketball player than Brunson, even though he's not as reliable and whatever. Brunson fit in so well with Luka, et cetera, et cetera. But if you're thinking like, how do we swing for the fences with Luka, who's this generational talent? What if we roll the dice and Kyrie in Texas? Maybe Kyrie makes sense in Texas for a variety of reasons.
What does that mean?
I don't even know. Maybe he just needs a new state. But Brunson on the Nets, a little more stability, maybe cheaper contract. But who do you think is less likely to do Brunson for Kyrie? Total sports radio topic.
Well, anybody on the Kyrie side of things. Like, I'm sorry. Like, there's a couple guys now I just would not give $1 to.
Okay, so you would rather have Brunson. Okay.
This has been going on since like Kyrie turned 25. You know? And it's like, if he ended up, again, I'll wait till the Lakers want to make the Lakers point. But, and I'd also say this about Brunson. A really good player is going to get paid. But there are some limitations to his offensive shot creation.
Would you want to pay him $35 million a year?
No, I wouldn't. Because I think once you started seeing him more, people being more prepared for him, like he's not comfortable in the catch and shoot. There's some things that you don't really notice unless you're totally locked into Brunson. Not to say he's not a really good player and he doesn't really get paid himself, but like to think then that you're replacing this Kyrie KD dynamic with Brunson, although more available and less of a question mark about where he's at with his commitment. I think there are more limitations for him offensively than you would think for a guy that put up those kinds of numbers.
How about Lowry and Duncan Robinson for Kyrie and Joe Harris in Miami, banking on Heat culture?
Oh, now we're talking Heat culture.
Heat culture. You put Kyrie in Heat culture. Sky's the limit.
I wonder if Spo would be like, I'm in. I bet he'd say no.
This would be a good segment. Either I'm in or I quit. Let's play another round of I'm in or I quit. I think Spo would say I'm in. Hey, we made it work with Jimmy. Let's just get crazier.
What does Nash say when somebody who's really close to him for 20 years calls, says, hey, we're close to doing this deal. Give me the truth.
Long, uncomfortable silence. Orlando is my third destination. What if it's just Cole Anthony for Kyrie? And the Nets get like a $40 million trade exception or whatever it is. And Kyrie just signs with Orlando. And the Nets get Cole Anthony. And then they get this huge exception to do something with. Does that make any sense to you at all? I mean, I would say for Orlando, they're probably like, we're good. I just want to talk it out.
I feel like it derails everything they think they're going to hope to be with the number 1 pick coming in, another year with Suggs. Fultz was good for them towards the end of the year. I would say that, Cole's, he'd be out, so it's not like he's getting in the way of anything. They still have the Isaac piece. I always thought that people kept trying to just dump everything on Orlando because it felt like a stale organization. But, with Wendell's improvement, the Bamba decision, which, I don't know which way that's going to go. With Kyrie, if you think you're kind of like at step 2 of the 5-part rebuild, do you want Kyrie around? Is it actually worse in Orlando than it would be, say, Dallas or Miami, where you're going into structure, right? Like, wouldn't it be better? Doesn't Kyrie have a better chance of success with something with established people that have already had, like you're talking about 2 conference finals teams?
Yes.
You got to kind of buy in. Yeah. So I'm actually starting to retroactively like those better now that you presented me with the Orlando one. Right?
I think Orlando says no too. Next spot, Houston, back in Texas.
Number 5, San Antonio.
Houston has the 17th pick from Brooklyn, ironically. And they also have those other Brooklyn like pick swaps, all that shit. And could it just be Kyrie for Wall and we'll throw you a pick? And the Nets can either see if they get what they, try their luck with John Wall, or it's an expiring contract.
Okay, my rule would usually always be, there's only so many teams with cap space. It's hard to get anybody to take it, and you overpay for people. And if you're a place that's not a destination, then you really have to overpay for people. And so, Houston, although when it's good, it's probably a place NBA guys. It's not probably, it's a place NBA guys do like to go, but nobody likes to go anywhere by themselves anymore. So if
I'm
you're
Houston,
no,
Houston's like, they're doing experimenting with Jalen Green, having the ball all the time. I think they're probably a no. I just wanted to float Wall.
Right. It's a likely no, but I think you have to kind of factor in the pricing for Kyrie. It's kind of like the Simmons Harden thing where you're going, which argument is Daryl making and which argument is Sean Marks making? And Sean Marks was going to win the argument because we're like, at least our guy plays in games. Your guy doesn't, and you have to pay a tax on that. If you're doing some Kyrie Wall thing, which we both agree, Houston would say no to it, would you make the argument that you're like, we have to pay Kyrie? So why am I giving you Wall on an expiring and a pick? Wait, like I'm not giving you, like you're getting a shorter deal. And, that's
why it's a no.
Yeah, that's why it's a no. And by the way, like the Wall contract now, although it's hard to add up to it, I wonder who'll try to pick it off and go, John Wall for 1 year, an absurd number. Is he terrible? Like he can't play basketball anymore? I don't think he's, I think that's kind of an overreaction. You just haven't seen him play.
This is my second favorite one. What about the Clippers? What if it was just
Brandon Boston?
No, it's like a Reggie Jackson or Luke Kennard, one of those two. Plus, like, I don't know, Powell. And the Clips just swing for the fences. And they say, we're going to have a team that has Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, and Kyrie Irving all on the same team. And that's what we're going to go to war with against the Lakers. And a bunch of role players. I think the Clippers would have the balls to actually consider a 2-for-1, something like that, and roll the dice with Kyrie.
Well, there's still none of this happens unless we know where KD's head is at with it. And by all accounts, it doesn't seem like he wants any of this to happen. Right?
I think that's going to. I think that's going to be a real issue. No. Just I think the Nets are going to do what they want to do with this. KD's under contract. He's under contract for the next couple of years. So if they feel like Kyrie kind of dismantled any sort of cohesion the last 12 months, and they just don't want to bring him back, it's their prerogative to do that. Last one. So you don't think the Clippers swing for the fences?
No, I really like it. But
I think that's a possible. I'd mark that down. Then the Lakers. It's really tough. They would have to be Westbrook would have to be involved.
Imagine telling Durant, "Hey, we're trading Kyrie, and we know you don't want to. And by the way, you're playing with Westbrook again, who you left because you didn't like playing with him."
That's where the third team comes in, my friend.
All right, good luck.
Well, Sam Presti, OKC, former home of Russell Westbrook, taking the hometown hero home for a year. Get a couple Lakers firsts out of it. Lakers get Kyrie, and the Nets just get a huge trade exception. That's it. And then try to figure out what to do with it. I feel like the Nets would have to get something in that, though, and I don't know what it is. But if I'm OKC, I'll take Westbrook's money for a year. Give me some more firsts. Great. Oh, I get Lakers first now in 2027. I don't know who's going to be on their team in 2027. We'll take that. We'll take 29 pick swap too. Great. We'll take Westbrook off your hands. I think that's the most realistic one. And then Westbrook comes home, a conquering hero, even though he didn't really conquer anything other than some first-round losses. Could see that one happening.